Welcome to Contest Conversations. I'm your host, Kaylene Ledgar, and in this series, we explore practical ideas, real experiences, and helpful tips to help you prepare for the upcoming contest season. Whether you're a brand new Toastmaster or you've been around for a while, our goal is to encourage you to get involved in contests, either as contestant or as a contest official. Today, we are focusing on the International Speech Contest. This is the contest that begins at club level and ultimately can take you to the World Championship of Public Speaking. Joining me is my fellow Lynbrook Toastmaster and Area B1 Director, John Ledgar. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
So, John, let's us start with the basics. What is the International Speech Contest?
The International Speech Contest is a prepared speech contest. Contests, the prepared speeches are a 5 to 7 minute speech on a subject of your choice. Unlike the evaluation and table topics contest, this speech uh, is one that you prepare in advance. It has a clear message, a strong structure, and it's delivered in a way that connects with the audience.
Yes, and this is the contest that many people may recognize because it is connected to the World Championship of Public Speaking. So every year, the World Champion of Public Speaking started with a club international speech contest. They simply prepared and delivered a speech just as you do in every club meeting that you give a speech. But in this, it's a contest environment. So, John, what do you think makes members, or what do you think members will gain from entering the international speech contest?
I think most people get a lot of experience from it. One, they get to firstly just prepare a speech. Usually something that they've been really passionate about. They want to share a message. They want to inspire people or try and bring some sort of change to the audience. And then once they progress through the club to area, and then if they continue on division, district, and so forth, then they begin that refinement and building on it, improving it. Gives them all those extra opportunities to practice their communication and public speaking. Uh, like for me, I think that sums up why most people like like to enter the international speech contests.
Yeah, 100%. And it gives them a chance to speak in front of a different audience. So when they
Mm,
progress through the different levels, they've got different people that are in front of them because we get comfortable. We get comfortable in our club
mm,
meeting and with our members smiling at us. But when you've got people in the audience that maybe you don't know, that does shift as well. I
mm,
would also like to say, and I say this often, that the word contest constantly, or not constantly, well, it does constantly for me, but instantly increases the nerves. But that is also part of the growth opportunity, again, because we get comfortable in that safe place in our club. When we step out of that and we're doing a contest, the anxiety, the pressure that automatically comes from that, for me, it just helps elevate. So that means when you're put on the spot, say at work, you're
mm,
more comfortable because you've put yourself on the spot in a
mm.
contest. So the International Speech Contest gives you the chance to take one message and keep refining it. Every time you deliver it, you learn more about the speech, the audience, and yourself. It is not just about winning, it's about growth, confidence, and learning how to make your message stronger.
Mm. Yep.
So before members enter, it is important to check the eligibility. So for the International Speech Contest, contestants must meet the eligibility requirements in the current Toastmasters Speech Contest rulebook. This includes being a paid member in good standing of a club in good standing. So what that means is you have paid your money to the club and the club has paid the money to Toastmasters International. Both steps have to have been taken. Plus, for the international speech contest only, you must have earned certificates of completion in level 1 and level 2 of any path in the Toastmasters Pathways learning experience, or earned a Distinguished Toastmaster award.
And that's exactly why it's really important to make sure that you complete your projects in Pathways, submit for your level completion for approval by the base camp managers, who are the officers of the club.
Exactly. And if you do need assistance with your Pathways project levels, or the projects, the level completion, or confirming your awards, ask your Vice President Education. They're there to help you with this. So, one of the most important things that you as a contestant need to understand is the judge's ballot. And I'm just going to make sure I've got the judge's ballot open. So, the ballot tells you, here we go. So the ballot tells you what the judges are listening and watching for. So what they're looking at while you're giving this speech. So for the international speech contest, the judging areas include content, delivery, and language. And when we look at the judging criteria, this is actually page 2 of the ballot. We see at the very top the purpose of the international speech contest is it enables members to practice public speaking and content development in a competitive setting, so different setting. The topic and purpose of each speech is determined by the speaker, as John mentioned earlier. Every speech should fit within the overall purpose of the contest to clearly develop and present ideas in a substantially original speech. So, John, can you
Yep.
explore the content and the ballot, please? Here. And I think John has frozen just for a moment. I can hear him talking, but he's not talking.
Okay. Now,
There we go. We've
now
got you
I'm back,
back,
I
John.
believe.
That's
We're
okay.
back.
Yeah, so if you can
That
go through the content, that would be great.
yeah. So as you can see, each part of the ballot is broken up into different percents. I'm not going to go into the specific percents now. Uh, Under the content, it it looks at the speech development, how you've structured your speech. Is there a logical manner to the way that is? Does it help to make sense? Is it effective? And is the content adding value to your speech and also to what the audience is experiencing?
And before we go on to delivery, I will just jump in here. When I look at speech development, that second sentence, the speech is structured around a purpose. And
Mm,
this structure must include an open body and conclusion. They're the basic things that we learn as we navigate through the Pathways program. And I'm looking for a clear purpose in the speech. If, as a judge, if I'm left at the end thinking, great speech, but what was it about, or what was the why behind it, then I'm actually ranking them down in this part.
mm.
I'll show you when we finish this page 1. But it's really important to note here that 50% that John mentioned, content is 50%. So how you build your speech and what you put in it and how you present it, the delivery style, the how's it connecting to the audience, that is so important. So delivery, John.
So this is broken up into physical delivery, voice, and manner. The physical delivery is how you present yourself on the stage, how you use your body language, how you use the different areas of the stage. And does that, or at least this is the way I look at it, does that actually add to your speech? If your
Yep.
gestures, like some people become very overly repetitive and are doing lots and lots of hand movements, but it's not adding, that can actually work against you. So does your physical delivery support your speech? Then the voice is the tone you use, the mannerisms, even things like your pauses, how we use our voice to bring those inflections in to make emphasize points or to build anticipation. All of these sort of things add to the the takeaway for the audience of your message, and it can actually help build how effective your speech is or detract from it if it becomes yeah too monotonous or something like that. And the mannerism is around, are you presenting in an enthusiastic way, showing the audience that you're confident about your topic, all those sort of things. If you are presenting your speech in a confident manner, that's going to draw the audience in. Where if you're very laid back and, yeah, whatever, then the audience is going, yeah, good story, but I wasn't connected. So the
Yeah.
mannerism can really help to bring the audience in.
And it's about being, all of these 3 points are about it adding value to the speech, that it's
Hmm.
helping the speech, that it's, yeah, reinforcing the message. And here we've got delivery is 30%. So it's not even
Mm.
half, like the content is half your score. Delivery is 30. And that's something to really be mindful of, that it is very important, but you can rank high in delivery and low in content, and you probably won't place.
Mm.
Okay. And I've seen that happen. I've seen people say, but they were an excellent performer. It was a great, entertaining speech. They were so out there. And I'm like, yeah, but where was the purpose? Where was the
Mm.
structure? And I could see as an observer from my point of view that I think they probably got ranked lower in the content area and high in delivery, whereas somebody else that may not have been as fabulous a performer may have ranked a bit average in the delivery section, but they ranked high in the content area. So they would have, in my eyes, potentially gone above that person. So this is why it's so important to understand the ballot and how it's balanced as well.
Mm.
And finally, language.
And when we're looking at the language, we're looking at the appropriateness and the correctness. And one of the things that it talks about is the choice of words. And when we're delivering a speech, if we choose words that have a powerful connection together, that help to paint a picture or create an image or draw out a feeling in the audience, that those words are going to be more powerful, and that's going to bring a better response from the audience. It's going to help the audience understand your may even, there may even often be times where people repeat key phrases or key words throughout a speech, and then people start connecting this word or this phrase with this meaning, and that just builds that ability to really connect and understand, the speech as you're delivering it, and also the correctness of language, and that it is connecting with what you are trying to say, um, bringing in, particularly because all the contests need to be done in English. It's bringing in that correct grammar, um, which can be, you know, can be a challenge sometimes, for all people. Um, but the more accurate we have that actually does build. And like I think, um, I think can be a minor part in the score, but it can still be the tipping point when it comes down to the final ballot.
Yeah, and I think language is only 20% of the ballot. However, when we look at connecting it to different parts as well. So the appropriateness, somebody may say something that, and I've had it happen. I've been in the audience and they've said something and I've gone, ooh, ouch, that's not
Mm.
something that I would normally see as someone speaking. So for me, I might be start going, oh, I'm going to drop them a point or half a point in the appropriateness area. But then I look around as a judge and I look at the audience and I'm like, oh, the audience is resonating with this. And this sometimes happens when you are judging outside of your area division or even district, when you're beyond the club area, because it may be appropriate to that audience as well. So this is where the
Mm.
judge is looking, as judges, we need to get rid of our bias,
Mm.
but we are human. Things connect with us and things don't connect with us. But that's why we look at the full ballot to work out, how things go. I know of a speech where somebody spoke about something that was a number of people thought was highly inappropriate. So they would have got ranked down in the appropriateness level. They may have got ranked a little bit in the effectiveness, however, maybe not because it was such a hot topic that we wouldn't talk about. It was about children, and it was a topic I wouldn't, have communicated because it was in poor taste. And uh, the thing is, the effective. It was actually quite effective because it really did punch us as well. So
Mm.
even though it was not appropriate, there was that effectiveness, and the speech was so well structured that you could see why, even though they rank low in one area, they could rank high in another as
Mm.
well. So I'm just going to show you now the ballot. So this is the ballot and this is how they are scored. You can see here that speech value is 25 out of the 50, and then speech development's 15 and 10. And judges are encouraged to score within these suggested point values uh, to help them fill out what does. Each of the physical, the voice, and the manner is all the 10, and the same with appropriateness and correctness as well. So I'll stop sharing that for now. So with the ballot, I want you to know that it exists. I want you to understand what the judges are looking at. What we're not saying that you have to do is you do not have to create your speech and make it like a tick box so it's mechanical. It means that you need a strong understanding of what they're looking for. And you do want to have a clear message. You want to have a strong opening, a logical structure, uh, a story or example, something that supports your message. You want to be clear and clever at times with your language. You want to have that delivery, that vocal variety, presence on stage, moving around the stage to adding impact to your presentation. And you want a conclusion that will land and people will remember. So we're talking about a really well structured presentation that you have thought about and you've considered how is this going to impact and connect with the audience. So we've looked at the ballot. John, would you like to share some insights into, from your perspective, what can make a strong international speech?
Yes, thanks, Kaylene. The first thing when I talk to people who are wanting to go down this path that I sort of do bring up is, if it's if you're writing your speech about something that you've experienced, that's really important to you, at first, that's always going to make it a lot easier to write it. Because with that, and this isn't the only way, this is just the way I do it, but that helps you to get that clear central message. Because the audience will understand quickly if you can bring that out as a lived experience or knowledge that you've been gaining. They will be able to see that central message. It also helps it to flow a lot easier, which if it's flowing, the audience follows the structure and everything much better. Um, when we're doing this, we do also need to keep in mind our audience. And that's sort of something Kayleen alluded to in that previous section, knowing your audience, and where Kayleen sort of alluded just before, you know, your audience, you may know, yes, this is appropriate. People from outside, like when you're as a judge, we may not necessarily see that, so we're going to be reading that off the audience itself.
Can I just jump in there
So,
about knowing your audience? This is something that I've witnessed a number of times with district champions that have gone to the semi-finals and the World Championship of Public Speaking. And back in the day where I was attending a lot of the international conventions, most of them were based in North America. And what they would do is they'd actually visit Toastmaster clubs in North America and practice their speech because some of the terms we use here in Australia
mm,
won't land in America or won't land with an international audience. So we're talking club level
mm,
here. You know who we are in your club. But
mm,
as you step up through the different levels and beyond into the international area as well, that is where you really want to explore more about the
mm,
choice of words and how that resonates with different audiences as well.
yeah. The final point that I just wanted to make um, is you really want to make sure that you have a strong conclusion that sums up the overall point of your speech. And
Mm.
it's also something that the audience can remember. So sometimes having a specific phrase, and that can be something that may be connected throughout your speech, or it could just be a call to action, something that really, those final words grabs the audience because that's the thing they're going to remember the most of your speech.
Yeah. 100% agree. And as you were talking about the conclusion, I always chuckle. I get excited when I'm listening to international speeches. And I'll be listening, and there's been a number of times where I've gone and I've held the clap because I've listened to their conclusion and I'm like, yes, because I really felt they were finishing on a high note. And then they continued and continued and continued. So the power of the conclusion and to
Mm,
really hit home at that point, oh, definitely
mm,
something to keep in mind. So I will say one other trap that I think speakers, especially in the international, will do, but in a lot of the contests as well, is they try to say too much.
mm,
For the
yeah.
international, it is a 5 to 7 minute speech. You do not have room for every lesson, for every example, for every detail. The speaker needs to know what is the one message I want the audience to take away. Why does it matter? And what story or example will help them understand or feel it? What do I want them to think, feel, or do by the end? I know it
Mm,
sounds crazy, but less can actually be more in a speech and especially in the international speech. Now, it's really important that contestants understand they must create their own speeches. And each speech must be substantially original. And this is from the rule book. 25% or less of your speech may be devoted to quoting, paraphrasing, or referencing another person's content, And it must be identified if you're doing it during your speech. Okay, so if you don't identify it, contestants and judges can protest. Okay, it's got to
Mm.
be substantially original. So with this, uh, you will need to fill in the speaker's certification of eligibility and originality form as well. So you would be filling this in saying, I'm eligible to compete and this is my speech. It's not something you've heard on the internet that you've decided, oh, I'm going to paraphrase it and make it my own. Yeah, no, this is you. You're putting your
Mm.
original ideas into it. While you can have 25%, I would lean towards as little as possible being other people's, and whatever you do that is other people's, make
Mm.
sure you do reference it. In addition to this form, just a nice little reminder that you'll also fill in the speech contestant profile at the same time and provide some information on here to be able to help the contest chair or contest toastmaster, if there is one, for them to be able to interview you and to get to know you after the contest as well. So, with that, I'd like John to just share with us about the timing. We know it's 5 to 7 minutes, but what does that mean?
Thank you, Kaylene. As Kaylene just said, yes, it's 5 to 7 minute speech, and that means the timing lights will come on for you. So green at 5, yellow at 6, and red at 7. The difference to a club meeting is that at 7, the light stays on. There is no buzzer if a club uses a buzzer at a designated time. The ruling in the contest rulebook says that you must speak for at least 4 minutes 30 seconds and no more than 7 minutes 30 seconds. If you speak for 4 minutes 29 seconds or 7 minutes 31 seconds, you'll be disqualified on time.
Correct. And that means timing matters. So some people wonder why we time everything in the club. This is where you can miss out on an opportunity to advance if you get the timing wrong. Like there's so many benefits for timing, we know in the workplace as well. But practice in club, always not getting to the point where there's a buzzer because we buzz at 30 seconds. In the contest, you won't even know that the buzzer would have gone off in a regular club meeting. So you don't have to write a speech that only works if everything goes well. Uh, you know, I would encourage that instead of actively, so what I mean by that is instead of writing out your script and planning it for 7 minutes 29 or 7:30, I definitely wouldn't go there. I would even be leaning towards 7 or a little bit less than 7 minutes. The reason why is in the moment, in the contest, you may have some nerves that creep up. So you need to slow your pace down a little bit, or you might have that moment where, oh, what's next? So a little bit of nerves will come in and that will extend. So if you've gone for 7:29 and you've got one of them, you're disqualified because you've gone over the 7:30 straight away. The other thing is you don't know what the audience reaction's necessarily going to be. So if you've got something that is going to make the audience laugh, well, you need to factor that time in. And the higher up you go, the bigger the audience, the longer the laugh as well. But you also, within your presentation, when you're looking at the delivery side of things, you may deliberately want to pause for a second or two here and a little bit longer there to add impact. So this is why I feel a little bit shorter, 7, maybe the max for your presentation. Definitely don't go close to 5 because I have seen people that prepared a 5-minute speech and they've done the opposite. They've spoken so fast that they've got disqualified because it ended up being less than 4:30 because they got super, super fast with it. So practice with the timer is really good. Practice the pauses and practice it out loud.
Mm.
So John,
Before
oh, yep,
before we
go.
move on, I just wanted to add this one thing that I heard a Toastmaster say around the time I started doing international. I think I'd done one international speech contest, and they said that whenever they are delivering speeches, when they see the orange, they start to move towards their conclusion. And like that's something that I sometimes I don't because if there's too much information, sometimes I'm still going and I know that okay, I have to jump right into that conclusion when the red light comes on. But if that's the way, and that's the way that I did start doing it when I was doing a lot of contests, I started going, all right, orange or yellow means that I start to move towards that summing up, even if it means that I'm still going and then the red light comes on and I move straight into it. Because it just makes sure that you definitely do not go over.
And it's a huge skill to be able to do. Like it's such a powerful skill to be able to adapt in the moment. And what you need
Mm,
to do with that is you need to let go of telling them everything. It's like where I
mm,
said there's, all this, or you can't fit every idea, every lesson, every example into this speech. Even something you plan to put in there may not actually end up on the day because you need to adapt in the moment
mm,
as well.
mm.
And I will say here before we do go on to the contest flow, John,
Yep.
is uh, I wouldn't necessarily change my speech if another person is doing a topic the same as mine, but I may need to flip one of my scenarios or my stories or weave in something different if it is similar on the fly. So
Yep.
that's really a personal thing, and we'll talk more about why later. But that would be another reason why you might switch something out in the moment because you've made this statement in your speech and someone else is making the exact same statement in theirs.
Mm,
If you can adapt on the fly, that's great. If you can't, that's okay as well. But that would be a reason why I would
mm.
tweak as well. So, Flo, tell us about what we're going through on the day of the contest.
Most important thing is get there as early as you can. You get there as early as you can. You can be prepared, ready for the briefings and all that, as well as letting yourself settle into the day. Attending the contest briefing, that is essential because you will find out where the speaking, like the stage area is and all that sort of thing. Um, so it's really important to come along to that. Need to make sure that you've confirmed your eligibility and you'll go through a speaking order ballot. So that could be drawing cards or sticks with numbers to for the order. If you are not there at the time of the drawing, then you'll become, the last place sort of thing, but that's something that the contest chair will work with. Make sure that you pay attention to the instructions. If you're unsure, um, ask questions. Um, you'll be introduced by name, speech title, and name.
Mhm.
Then you deliver your speech. After your speech, there'll be a minute's silence for the judges to complete their ballot. And once all the contestants have spoken, the result will be announced later in the contest program.
And unlike the evaluation and table topics contest, where the contestant enters the room at their speaking time, the international speech contestants can remain in the room. I have seen some contestants who don't want to see the previous speakers because they don't want to be rattled by their presentation and they choose to leave the room and stay outside. That is okay. However, you are responsible for making sure you re-enter the room in that minute silence and are ready to be introduced. So if you chose that path Definitely let the contest chair, if there's a contest Toastmaster, let them know and make sure the Sergeant at Arms knows as well. So they do let you back into the room. So that's always an important
And
one to think about.
Kaylene, are there any other rules that contestants need to be aware of?
Oh, yes, yes. So this is what I was starting to allude to earlier. Yes, 100%. Contestants must not reference another contestant or a speech presented by another contestant during their speech at the same contest in which they are competing. So, as a speaker, I like to refer to the previous presenters or the previous presentation as a way to build connection with the content and the audience. In a contest, no, do not do it.
Mm,
If you do it, you will be disqualified. So this is where I was saying before, it can get tricky if a previous contestant actually picks up and they've got something very similar to you, and then your speech, then you are saying it as well. You can do it because all that would happen in that case is if there was a protest, you would be invited out and the chief judge would explain the situation, and you would be allowed to explain how you created and build the speech, and you'll be able to
mm,
prove that's my speech. This is my speech idea. This is
mm,
how I mapped it out. I can show you my notes. I've done all of this.
mm,
Um, so you'll be able to show how you built the speech and how you came up, and that will prove that it was your original content, even if the same phrases come up. But in general rules, try not to connect any of your presentation with the others. But
mm.
obviously, we can't know for the content that other people. I've actually seen two contestants in a different contest in the humorous both have possum stories at district final. It was hilarious. But they were both uniquely possum stories.
Mm,
So,
mhm,
another rule to definitely be aware of is the speaking area. Now, the contest chair will define this during the briefing, and it's important to know this area and use it wisely. While you can't be disqualified for going outside the area, it's not part of the disqualification, it can impact how the judges score you. So, always remember that. Now, John, I've got one for you. Can
mhm.
members use their international speech for a Pathways project? Oh, and he's frozen, but he'll be back in a second. This is the power of the pause if Kaylene wasn't speaking right now. He is not back yet. He's coming back hopefully in a minute.
Okay,
Not.
am I back now?
John, you are
No?
back now.
Yes,
So
I'm
on
back.
to the pathways. Can
Uh,
we do pathways?
yes, you can do pathways. There is a slight caveat. You need to speak to your VPE first before the contest. The VPE can approve it or approve a speech outside a regular club meeting, which can be at the club contest. And in that situation, you would need to bring your evaluation form, and someone who is not a contest official then would give a written evaluation for you. Um, when you're introduced, no one will know what speech you're doing, like what your path or project or anything like that will be. So
And
it'll
I,
only be the evaluator and yourself.
yeah, 100%. And I'll just add here quickly that judges are not allowed to give you feedback. So
Mm,
don't ask. If you want feedback, you make sure that you get it from somebody that is not an official at all. That way, you're not risking the integrity of the judging process as well.
mm,
And don't put a
mm.
judge in that position.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can members use props in their speech, Kayleen?
Oh, yes, they can. So contestants can use props, and this can include even electronic devices and music and slides. I've seen a powerful one where it was a wine glass. So they can use one or many props. If a contestant plans to use a prop or any props during their speech, they must advise the contest chair prior to the contest.
Mm,
And I would even do that when you're submitting your eligibility and forms early, a
mm,
few days beforehand. Venue restrictions must be adhered to. For example, our venue, we cannot have an open flame. So if I
mm,
wanted to use a candle, I'd have to use a battery operated candle versus a candle where I've lit a flame.
mm,
Now, all props must be set up during the minute silence directly before your speech and removed immediately after your speech in the next minute silence.
mm,
I highly recommend that any contestant wanting to use props that you enlist the support of someone who is not a contest official. So this contest sergeant at arms, the contest toastmaster, contest chair, the timers, judges, counters, none of them can help you put the props up. You need to get
mm.
a buddy, someone else there in the audience to help you do that. So get one of your buddies from your club to come along and help set up as well. Now, you may be asked by the contest chair to demonstrate the setup and pack up prior to the contest starting. And if you are asked and you are unable to demonstrate that it can be set up within the 1 minute and put down, packed up in the 1 minute, you won't actually be allowed to use it. So it's really important to do that. And again, with props, are they adding value?
Mm,
Are they adding value? And
mm,
sometimes, yes, they are, and sometimes they're not.
mm,
So, John, you've competed in international a few times, so I'd like you to share some of your thoughts on how to prepare for the
yeah.
international.
First thing is you want to get in and start preparing as soon as you can. Uh, Sometimes you may even have a couple of speeches that you've been developing over time. Like, oh, but that early preparation is key because it does help. You want to make sure that the message in your speech matters. So sometimes you may want to speak to your mentor or a trusted Toastmaster and say, look, I'm thinking about this speech, or I've got these two speeches. These are the messages. Which one do you feel has more impact? So that's a really good method to do. And then you want to practice out loud. Yes, you can practice internally, you can, do all that, but when you're doing it out loud, that helps you to get the flow even better. Or even recording yourself, that can help. Time yourself whilst you're practicing, and know that if you are timing yourself at home, you could be doing it in 5 to 6 minutes. Know that with pauses, it's potentially going to be longer. So
The
it
opposite
gives you an
again,
or the opposite.
or the opposite, it
Yes.
might be
Yeah.
faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both ways.
But timing it gives you an idea, and
Mhm.
you'll know if you're doing it really short, okay, I can bring in more pauses.
Yeah.
And if you're going too long, you know that okay, I may need to refine or pull something out.
Mhm.
Get a bit like with the mentor questioning, get feedback from other Toastmasters. So practice your speech in a club meeting, or even just deliver it to trusted Toastmasters so that they can give you that feedback. Um, if you can get out and do it in front of other people outside of the club, maybe visit other clubs if that's an
Well,
option.
and I would say I would be doing that. I wouldn't be doing that straight away. I would
Yeah.
be waiting for that until I won area.
Mm,
If I won area,
yeah.
then I would look at going to different clubs
Yeah.
to start getting different audiences. So I probably wouldn't start directly with that,
Mm,
but the higher you go, yes, the more clubs you want to visit.
mm,
And the beauty now is we're a global organization, so they can visit clubs even online around the world
mm.
too.
True. True. Um, you want to refine the opening and the conclusion because the opening, you're grabbing the audience, you're pulling them in, you're getting them engaged, and you want that to be powerful. And also, you really want to make sure that when you're concluding, you're leaving the audience with impact because that's what they're going to remember. And I think one of the key things is make sure that it's still your speech. It still sounds like you. If we over practice too much, sometimes we can become a bit too robotic. So it
Mm,
is that finding that balance. You want to rehearse or practice, but you don't want to practice to the point that you lose the emotion and the inclinations and all that sort of thing.
yeah. Yeah, look, I 100% agree. For me, especially that comment that you just made about you don't want to become robotic.
Mm,
I've seen a really polished speaker just stand up there, and it was a well-structured speech, but it was so cold because you
mm,
could tell they were so over-rehearsed. And
mm,
amazingly, somebody that wasn't as polished a speaker really connected with our heartstrings.
mm,
They had a clear structure and won the contest because they were just oozing with authenticity and you
mm,
could see them coming through. So when we practice, and this is especially as you advance through the levels, you want to practice to the point that it doesn't appear that you practice, that
mm,
you want to get to the point where it is your energy is coming out, your personality is coming out, and you can skip a line, but it doesn't matter because you know the material so well that you can adapt
mm,
on the moment. Okay, so you want to practice so and just know the material internally so
mm,
you can adapt, you can be natural, and yeah, definitely not that robotic
mm.
speech. And remember, we want to be original. We want to be
Mm.
original. So,
Yep.
okay.
Mm. Oh, this is me.
We are
Before,
learning.
I was just so engaged with what you were saying. I thought you had more to say in that part. All right. Before we wrap up, can you explain the process from club to world champion of public speaking?
Yes. So the winner of the club will advance to the area contest where they will compete against the winners from the clubs in their area. So we've got 5 clubs. So you could be competing against 4 other club champions. The winner at the area contest, they will be advancing to the division contest. And this is where they'll be competing against all the winners from areas in our division. So in our division, we have 4 areas. So there'll be 3 other contestants that you will be competing against at the division contest. So the division winner, they then go on to the district final, the district international speech contest, which is held during the annual district conference. For us, it's normally held in May. The district contest, the district final, is recorded because unlike the other contests, this contest does not stop at district. This contest continues, as John alluded to. So the winning speech is submitted for inclusion in the quarterfinals. Now, the quarterfinals are conducted by video, and the districts are randomly assigned to contests. And then the judges watch all the recordings for their contest and then they fill in their ballots. And from there, the top 2 contestants from each quarterfinal will advance to the semi-final. The semi-final is held at the International Convention, which could be anywhere in the world. And the contestants are randomly assigned to one of four contests. Now, this contest will happen normally in August, when they hold the international convention. Now, it is important to note right here that from club to semi-finals, the contestant can use the same speech.
Can they improve it along the way, Kaylene?
100%. 100%. So the speech that they start with at club is often developed along the way. The speech they give at club may not be the speech they give at area, but I would highly recommend that the speech you give at division is the speech that you're taking to district, because what I've seen is that growth that people have as they keep building the speech. So most will build from club all the way through. So they'll grow their speech, they'll grow as a speaker, and just watching it. Like I've seen people go from club all the way to the semi-final and even the world champion of public speaking, the final, the international final, and just watching them grow and the speech, how much sharper and tighter it gets, and yeah, just so powerful. But even their individual growth is amazing.
Mm.
Now, the top two contestants from the semi-finals, so from each of the semi-finals, uh, will advance to the final, which is the World Championship of Public Speaking. And as I mentioned, there's semis at the International Convention, so is the World Championship of Public Speaking. It's at the International Convention, normally held in August. And every contestant must prepare an entirely new speech. So they can't give the speech that they've used in the semi-finals. They can't use a speech that they've used in a previous year's semi-final or a previous year final. If they've got to the World Championship stage in the past, they can't revisit that speech either. There has to be a completely new speech that they present and deliver on the day. And ultimately, the winner of that final is the world champion of public speaking.
The international speech contest can feel intimidating because it is such a big event. Like there's so much going on to get you from club right through to the world stage. It starts at club level and it starts with one member, one message, and one opportunity to grow. This is the thing that I love. You don't need to be perfect. In fact, that will often add to your speech. You don't need to have a world champion speech before you enter. You simply need to be willing to prepare to step up and learn from it. Every time you prepare and deliver a contest speech, you grow as a speaker regardless of the result.
Thank you, John, for those words of wisdom and for joining me with this contest conversation about international speech contests. I hope everyone has enjoyed this episode and it helps you decide to put your hand up to be a contestant, to feel more prepared and to just, yeah, have the courage to say yes when that agenda pops up for our upcoming contest. So remember, every great contestant was once entering for their very first time, and every world champion starts where you will at club level.